Hey guys, when Zelda Tears of the Kingdom was announced, us Zelda fans were so excited. But we did have a few gripes and we wanted a few improvements from Breath of the Wild. Two of the biggest issues that I've heard and seen on the internet a lot, well, the first one is weapon degradation. A lot of people think that the weapon durability just wasn't up to snuff in Breath of the Wild, that they'd get a great weapon, use it a few times, and it would break. So this is something that's been all over the internet. Zelda fans have been talking about since Breath of the Wild. So Nintendo did what Nintendo does and they came out with a great solution for this, and they gave Link the power to fuse any two objects in the game together. So if you have a weapon, it's about to break, you fuse it with, I don't know, a boulder, a piece of wood or something, and it gives that weapon a lot more power. This is a great solution, so your favorite weapons can not only stay in your inventory, but can be improved upon. The second issue, the second gripe that us Zelda fans had were the lack of dungeons. So in this video, I'm going to give a few theories of what I think not only the dungeons might be like in Tears of the Kingdom, but what is going to happen to the shrines. The real thesis for this video is, in Tears of the Kingdom, are there going to be dungeons or shrines? So in this video, we're going to dive deep into Zelda theories. So come along and take this ride with me, and here we go. Hey, if you're new to my channel, well, first and foremost, hey, thanks for stopping by. Appreciate it. Talk about all things Zelda here. But the conversation of Zelda doesn't really need to stop with this video. I actually have a Discord. Link is down in the description. We talk about Zelda and all things gaming too. Turbo Jesse. I'm an indie YouTuber. I don't have that many subs, so every single subscription really matters. So if you guys wouldn't mind hitting that sub-a-rooney button, give me an old like, I'd really appreciate it. My goal is to hit 2,500 subs by the time Tears of the Kingdom comes out. I am trending in that right direction, but we'll see what happens. Anyway, let's get right into this video. First, let's start off talking about shrines. And shrines are a really unique part to Breath of the Wild. Breath of the Wild is all about open air exploration, being able to go wherever you want, whenever you want, using anything you have in your inventory to help you get there. But you go into these shrines and there are little corridors you have to take a whole elevator down to. They look totally different from the overworld, and it's usually a solve one puzzle, go from point A to point B. Granted, there's many ways to solve these puzzles, but they're really confined, right? You're not able to climb on a lot of the walls there. It's just very, very unique area, considering the rest of the game is so open. So I do think in Tears of the Kingdom, shrines are going to be totally removed from the game. I mean, from any gameplay and any trailers we've already seen, there's no shrines anywhere, so I think it's pretty obvious there's going to be no shrines in this game. But I'm not saying there aren't going to be little puzzle areas, because I do think the shrines in this game are going to be replaced by caves. That's right, it's just more organic. Instead of, Link having to go down an elevator or into a shrine, he can just walk into any cave system he wants. And, he'll have to solve some puzzles, maybe beat some bad guys. And these caves could have a lot of variety. Sometimes Link can go into a cave and it'll be a quick puzzle. He'll go in, solve the puzzle, leave right away. Other times it'll be more elaborate, maybe a whole cave system. He'll have to go deep down into Hyrule or the Sky Islands above, solve many puzzles, beat many bad guys, and then he'll be able to leave. And it's interesting because if you look on the mini-map from the newest gameplay trailer, you see that these cave systems are all over the place, and then some of them have little check marks next to them, like, hey, Link went into that cave, did whatever he had to do, and then he got out of there. Very interesting, and just more organic than going to a shrine, because this, you could just go right to a cave system. It doesn't look like something totally different, like from a different planet, different game altogether. It's just a cave. And if Link is in trouble, if the puzzle's too hard, he can't solve it right now, or the boss is just too difficult to beat, he could just use his new power and zip right through the ceiling and get out of there at any time. And also caves have the ability to have a lot of variety, especially their visual appeal. I mean, some caves could be dark and gloomy where you need a torch to get through them. Others might have that green rock to make everything green looking. Maybe there's going to be some fire cave systems, or maybe there'll be ones based totally on water. You know, once you go underground, anything is possible. So I do think there's going to be a ton of these caves, and they're all going to be very, very unique. But how many are we talking? In Breath of the Wild, there was 120 shrines, plus 30 in the DLC pack. So I'm going to say there's going to be at least 120 of these cave systems all over Hyrule and the floating islands above. You know, maybe, like I said, some might be very quick. You're able to beat them in, 5 minutes, 3 minutes, a quick puzzle, one quick boss. But other cave systems might be huge. And I'm talking monstrous. Take you 45 minutes to beat. Those are some of my favorite shrines in Breath of the Wild. The one where there was multiple puzzles and multiple bad guys to beat. It really felt accomplished when you did beat it. So I hope, they do, replace the shrines just with elaborate caves. What else would a cave be for? Just to go underground and making it look a little more interesting? No, I think there's going to be a real purpose to these caves, and I think the purpose is going to be replacing the shrines. But now, let's talk about the big elephant in the room, the one thing that everybody's been wondering ever since Tears of the Kingdom was announced, and it's, are there going to be dungeons in this game? It's a really interesting question, and one we just can't know the answer to. Yes, granted, we've seen some really weird floating objects in the sky. There's one that looks like an orb, another that looks like a cube, another that looks like an upside down pyramid. Maybe those are dungeons, but we just can't know for sure. But one thing we do know for sure, if there are dungeons in Tears of the Kingdom, they're not going to be the traditional dungeons that we've come to know and love over the years. As we all know, the formula of traditional dungeons is you go into a dungeon, fight a few bad guys, solve a few puzzles, get a map, get a compass, solve a few more puzzles, beat a few more bad guys, get some sort of item that really opens up the dungeon and allows you to beat more puzzles and eventually beat the boss. Very formulaic at this point. And unfortunately, Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, is a game that is not about formula. It's not about using one item to, accomplish a goal. It's about using your brain, figuring out all these other creative ways to solve puzzles. So I don't think in Tears of the Kingdom there's going to be traditional caves with traditional items. I think they're going to be much more wide open, and you're going to be able to kind of finish them any way you want. You'll be able to bring the items that you get from the overworld into the actual dungeons. Might be interesting if you have to kind of find these different items or, fuse different items together, bring them into the dungeons, and you'll be able to kind of beat the puzzles in a different way. It's just a lot of possibility. And if anything we've seen from these trailers from Tears of the Kingdom, this game is going to be taking the mechanics that we've learned from Breath of the Wild and just multiply them by 1,000. So in Breath of the Wild, there were the 4 divine beasts, and they were all very formulaic. You kind of went in, you turned the animal one way or the other, and you were eventually able to solve these basic puzzles. But I think in Tears of the Kingdom, I think the dungeons are going to be much more sophisticated and much more complex. I think it's going to take a lot of brain power to kind of complete these dungeons, and I just don't think it's going to be as formulaic as Zelda games have been in the past. Granted, I do think there's going to be a bunch of them. My prediction is there's going to be 8 dungeons in this game, maybe a bonus dungeon also somewhere, and each one of them are going to have their own unique feel and look. Maybe a water dungeon, maybe a forest dungeon, maybe a desert dungeon, I don't know. That's a video for another day, and kind of thinking about what the bosses could be like also, because I assume each one of the bosses in each one of the dungeons are going to be very unique as well. And who knows, maybe these dungeons are going to be so big and sprawling that they're going to take you hours and hours to beat. But, the bottom line is yes, I think they're going to be dungeons, and yes, I think they're going to be something that you are totally different from what you're expecting, that are going to totally evolve the formula that we've come to know and love over the last 30 years. So guys, the thesis for this video is, are there going to be shrines or dungeons in Tears of the Kingdom? And kind of my conclusion, what I think is going to happen is, no, there aren't going to be shrines. They're going to be replaced with cave systems. And yes, I honestly believe there are going to be dungeons in Tears of the Kingdom. But most importantly, what do you guys think? I'm really curious. Do you guys think there's going to be shrines in this game? Are they going to be replaced by something? Are there going to be dungeons? Do you think the dungeons are going to be very formulaic to what we've got in the past, or something brand new? Let me know down in the comment section. I love to interact with you guys and hear what your theories are. I'm super excited for this game. It's coming out in, I think, 36 days, 35 days, and I can't wait to find out all the answers to all these theories, if they're right, if they're wrong, together with you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you haven't already, definitely think about subscribing, hitting that like button. I have more Zelda Tears of the Kingdom videos in the works, and I'm going to be making Zelda videos way past the release of this game. So guys, thanks again for watching this video, and as always, I'm Turbo Jesse. I'll see you on the flip side.